Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.
All right, let me talk a little bit about our folk that are being deported in this country. And shout out to the nations that tried to stand up. Mexico refused to request by the Trump administration to allow the U.S. military aircraft deporting migrants to their land. They refused it. U.S. military carried out 2 similar flights, each with 80 migrants to Guatemala. On Friday, the government was not able to move ahead with the plan to have the C-17 transport aircraft land in Mexico because Claudia Sheinbaum was like, no. Colombia also was like, nah. Nope. And initially they stood up, and then Trump put out this message that spelled Colombia wrong. And I was just informed that 2 repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals, in all caps, by the way, that's on purpose. Illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. You don't know that everybody was on there was a legal criminal?
That's right. How do you even know that?
This is how they're reframing it. So if you're here illegally, you're automatically a criminal. You're a criminal. You're a 34-time felon. You're a illegal criminal that's in the office. We need to start changing the language too. So he did this whole thing. He's calling for emergency tariffs on all goods into the United States in 1 week, and then the 25% tariff will be raised to 50% if they don't allow the planes to land. So Colombia's leader, Gustavo Petro, he capitulated. He gave in, and he said the government of Colombia, under the direction of the president, has arranged for the presidential plane to facilitate the dignified return of the compatriots who are going to arrive in the country. So they had to, because the bully bullied him.
That's what
happened. And he didn't
happened.
have enough weight to be able to stand up to it.
My God.
And I'm not mad at that, because you don't want your people to hurt as a result of a decision that you're making that's righteous. So they back down. Brazil, the government expressed outrage on Saturday after dozens of immigrants deported from the United States arrived by plane in handcuffs. They called it a flagrant disregard for their rights. Yes. The foreign minister, now what if they had to go to the bathroom? Foreign minister said it would demand an explanation from Washington over the degrading treatment of passengers. When I saw the images, Dr. Black, it reminded me of something out of The Coming. I was like, they're trying to recreate something here. And it's working. It's working. So this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And Newark mayor, shout out to Ross Baraka, was like, nope.
That's right.
They're in Chicago today. The Justice Department joined immigration and other federal agencies in Chicago on Sunday to carry out the deportation operation. This ain't the largest city. They're targeting Chicago on purpose. You have to see the racial undertones here. Chicago's not the largest port not even a border state.
Right.
They're playing it. And then what is Dr. Phil doing there? So Dr. Phil was there. And part of I'm like, this is a big show.
It is.
We are part of a reality show, a version of The Apprentice that none of us signed up for. We're not getting no dailies. We're not getting no residuals. This is going to be a 4-year-ish show that we're all going to be a part of. And the fact that you got Dr. Phil showing up in Chicago for a photo op, for what? I don't even understand what's going on. This is so crazy.
It's so insane. It's so absolutely insane. And this notion of putting people in shackles, you're right. The way this conjures a history and conjures a memory, right? And reifies in people's mind the notion of not just the people, but the strength of a nation. See, that's what the whole MAGA movement is really, 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 really doing here. Trying to show its base, trying to show its own people that this is the strength when America was at its best. This is when America was strongest. This is when we could put other people, especially people of color, in shackles and in chains. This is how America got great.
A 4-hour flight with leg and arm shackles. Shackled to somebody. shackled to the person in front of you and behind you, to shuffle onto a plane where you are shackled for the entire flight, for the sin of overstaying a visa, for coming into the country looking for a better opportunity for yourself and your family, for the very thing that got the Italians and the Irish and the huddled masses through Ellis Island, the very thing that all of the I'm gonna play a clip from The View, which those ladies are holding the door on so many levels. Ana Navarro, whose family came here from another place, she had this to say on The View.
I've actually seen some video this weekend of Latinos who voted for Trump crying because now their abuelas and their tios are getting deported.
Right.
I'm having a very hard time mustering up any sympathy for those people.
Yeah.
And look, I'm an immigrant. I know the desperation that it takes to leave your country. Amongst immigrants in particular, there is no doubt that we want anybody who had the opportunity to come to this great country and committed a crime, we want them punished, we want them deported to the fullest extent of the law. But a lot of good, hardworking people who are in our schools, who are our colleagues, who own houses and businesses here, who are the parents of U.S. citizen children, are getting caught up in this. Because it's been reported that ICE offices all over the country have been given a quota. There is no way they meet that quota just with criminal aliens. And let me just say, I think that what he's done with the military, in addition to the legal aspects that may be involved, has a lot to do with a publicity stunt. The point is cruelty. The point is instilling fear. But it's also very costly. A charter DHS flight, it's been reported, is something like $8,500. A military C-130 is $816,000. So each one of those planes is costing us, so that he can have his picture and his photo op, 100 times more what a charter flight would be. And I have been saying for 2 months that people need to get prepared, because he said this was coming and he's living up to that. So what does that mean? It means that the immigrants out there, if you're an undocumented immigrant, if you've got a kid in school, if you've got a U.S. citizen school, let that school know, give them a list of adults that can go pick up that kid if you are taken in. Have your documents ready. If you can consult with a lawyer, por el amor de Dios, háganlo. And all of those people crying right now and feeling bad by the way they voted, there's going to be another election in 2 years. And we're going to have to wait 2 years of pain. So if you want things to change, get yourselves registered, get yourself active. There's no reason why we should be playing, rolling over and playing dead.
If you're a lawful citizen,
well, of course, if you're a lawful citizen.
That lady with the lawful citizen. What does that even mean? Dr.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Plus, Karen, they're just grabbing folks. They're not sending people notices. They're not sending. They say some folks will sit up in church.
Yeah, they've been given permission to go into church, into schools. They are setting up on these farms as people are coming to work. These folk that you've called lazy and criminals, they're working. You're snatching them up from their workplace that you need them to do the job that we're about to find out. And this is so diabolical, because I remember the kids in cages and people being snatched from their parents, babies who won't remember their parents. Where are those babies? Dr. Black, where are those children?
Where are those kids?
It's funny. These folk and the lack of humanity that they have. There was a representative. What's his name? Smiz, the one that said his name is Ryan Zinke. He's from Montana. He was on CNN and he was asked, if somebody is rounded up and they have a child, what happens? Play that clip just so y'all can hear.
What should we do if one of these naughty people, as you call them, has a child who's a U.S. citizen and they're their main guardian? I mean, what should happen to the child?
Well, there's foster care. There's a lot of things that have to be worked out in detail. The devil's going to be in the detail. Certainly when you have probably in the order of 20 million illegal immigrants, how far are we going to take it? I would imagine it's going to be a pyramid. We'll go after the criminals, the hardened drug dealers, et cetera, first, and then see where we are. But again, it's going to take funding up front, and I think he probably has a few months before the people go, you know what, we elected you to do this. Why isn't it getting done?
No, it's happening immediately, and they're not all criminals.
No.
And how do you know if you're just snatching people up from their workplace? who's a criminal. As you said, Dr. Black, they're not giving anybody. They don't know. They're just like, and I'm saying some of you light-skinned Black folk might need to carry your birth certificates if you're in certain areas because they're not asking. They're snatching. They're snatching.
That's just
Sonny, I'm gonna play a couple more clips. Sonny Hostin from I think she's Puerto Rican and Black. You know, like she's also very well, and she's a lawyer, well versed in this. She said this. Play the first clip from her.
To answer your question, which is this the immigration fix that this country wanted? I think absolutely there are certain people that wanted to see this kind of pain and destruction for a certain group or type of immigrant. Because if you look at the numbers, yes, the number of immigrants that come from Mexico or of Mexican born are the largest. But the next largest are Asians. 28% of them come. I don't think they walk across the southern border. I think they come by plane. The next largest are Europeans. I don't think they walk either. I'm just saying immigrants, right?
Oh, not undocumented though.
A lot of them are undocumented, actually.
But that's not the stat for being.
But a lot of them come by plane and then overstay their visas.
They overstay their visas. They overstay their visas, so they're undocumented. The Europeans that come here that overstay their visas are undocumented, but they don't come across the southern border. So I think there's a very clear message as to what this president wants the look of a criminal migrant to look like, what an undocumented migrant. And I think that's racist.
Me too, Sonny. The devil is in the details. The devil's in them.
Absolutely.
So Dr. Black, when we say illegal immigrant, automatically we're evoking a person that speaks Spanish.
That's right. And it conjures brownness. That's right. That's right. Criminality.
We're not thinking Asian. We're not thinking Eastern European, Russian, Ukrainian.
No. In fact, this is not only along racial lines, but what's interesting is an undocumented European, how would you even know?
That's the point.
How would you even know?
That's the point. And we're going to have people calling ICE on people.
That's right.
Because they don't like them.
That's it.
Because they speak Spanish. They don't want to hear their music.
And see, y'all, this is why history is so important. Because Black people, we've been the fugitive before. We know what fugitive status feels like. We know what fugitive status in terms of life lives like. We've had to hide before in the same country in which we were born and worked. We've been here. We have seen this before.
I wanted to spend some time with you strategizing on a time such as this, with that knowledge of history and what we did before and how we move forward. I'm gonna play one more clip from Sunny because she's saying something right now that I think is so important. But I also, at the same time that I'm playing these clips and I'm talking to you, I know that there is a large swath, maybe the majority of this country, and that's the other thing that we have to grapple with, who don't care.
That's right.
They don't give a damn.
That's right.
And that's a hard pill, another hard pill for us to swallow, because you can't imagine the lack of humanity being so prevalent.
That's right. That's right.
But that may be the case.
It very well may be the case.
And so we have to reconcile with that we may be the vast minority in a move that looks like it's going to sweep us into an age and era that will not be forgotten in history.
Absolutely.
And so we have to be mindful. How do you move when the rest of the world, or at least this country, because I'm looking at other countries, except for Italy, but there's something going on globally. That is giving rise to what we're experiencing here in the United States of America. And in many ways, the United States of America might have triggered it. Maybe it's always triggered it.
Right.
So here we are. Let's talk about, let me play one more clip from Sonny and then let's get to it. Hey, play it, Smith.
He has circumvented established law by weaponizing the U.S. military.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Generally, before being deported, you have an asylum case pending in front of a court, and you must appear in front of that judge. Right now, there are 3 million asylum cases and 900 judges. That is why the bipartisan bill that was going to be passed addressed that particular issue. Instead of dealing with it legally in that way, and I'm not saying he's doing it illegally, what he did was declared a national emergency that qualifies as a foreign invasion. And on the U.S.-Mexico border, not any other border. And that cleared the way for the Department of Defense to deploy the military at a 60% increase. I just think that our military members, many of them did not join the military to do that job. And let me say just finally that they are also racially profiling in doing this. In Newark, New Jersey, a business venue on Thursday was raided, and among the citizens that they detained and questioned was a Puerto Rican man and a military vet. For the 50 millionth time, Puerto Ricans are Americans and disproportionately serve in the military. And so I say all of this to say that I am disappointed, disgusted, and saddened by what I'm seeing.
Introducing a new podcast. Karen Hunter is awesome.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Karen Hunter is awesome. A new podcast from Karen Hunter.